If you want to fail as a copywriter, this is the video to watch, because in it I will tell you all the things you need to do to ensure that you are never successful. Quick disclaimer, as you might imagine, this video will have a lot of sarcastic parts. I trust that you will be able to understand which ones are sarcastic and which ones are not. At the same time, I feel that thinking in an inverted way is also a great way to get to what you actually want to get to. If you want to come up with a list of how to succeed, sometimes it's easier to think of ways to fail, because the brain can come up with a list of hundreds of ways to fail. But it's more difficult to think about how to succeed. If I ask you how can you become successful as a freelancer, there's a lot of ways, there's a lot of possibilities. But if I ask you, on the other hand, what are surefire ways to fail as a freelancer, I'm sure that you'll be able to come up with a list of ideas that if you do these things, you are certain to fail as a freelancer. So what you do is you come up with that list and then you take the opposite. And this video is a result of this. How can you fail as a freelancer? You have your list and then you do the opposite. So enjoy this video and I hope you find value in it. Number 1, always believe you have enough skill and that you can't possibly improve. Once a copywriter boasted that he was born with a golden pen and that there was no improvement that he could ever make. He kept ignoring all the feedback that anyone ever gave him, as well as new strategies. Eventually, nothing that he ever wrote resonated with his audience, leading to his message becoming outdated. Moral of the story? In the fast-paced world of freelancing, if you don't improve, you will eventually be forgotten. Second way to ensure that you really fail as a freelancer is to only ever deliver on what's needed, or even less. A copywriter thought that she had discovered the shortcut to success. Always deliver less than expected. Problem was that clients quickly realized what was happening and also very quickly started asking her for less and less work. They eventually began taking their business elsewhere, and she ended up with less work as a result. As clients found copywriters that could deliver to their needs, she ran out of business. Delivering the bare minimum is a surefire way to fail. Instead, success requires not only meeting the expectations, but delivering beyond them. Number 3, never invest in any course, ever. There was an SEO copywriter who decided that he knew everything. He decided that he would use old methods to keep ranking web pages. The problem was that the algorithms changed. The way people expected to find valuable content changed as well. But he insisted on going down the same path, as he had always done, and he kept refusing to adapt. Again, his success as a freelancer didn't last very long. Number 4, building relationships and networking is a waste of time. This copywriter saw networking as a waste of time. It wasn't something that he needed or that he wanted to spend time doing. He had his clients and he was happy working with them over a period of time. The problem was that when work decreased, he tried reaching out to people and asking for more work, but there was no one who said yes to his queries. In a competitive market, he found himself alone and eventually had to give up. The moral? Focus on relationships and the value that you can add to each of them. Because when the time comes and you need to make the ask, you will find people that will be able and want to help you. 5th way to ensure that you fail as a copywriter: take offense to every single criticism. There was a writer who took every edit as a personal attack, feeling that the editor or client was criticizing him as a person. For him, his ego was the most important thing, and he wore it like a badge of honor. He argued with his clients over every suggestion, burning bridges along the way. He also earned a reputation for being very difficult to work with. As a result, his clients quickly evaporated. Being unable to take criticism is a surefire way to failure. It's never personal, but it's always feedback that you can use to improve. Number 6, relying on AI to do the work, while at the same time criticizing AI for taking his work. A copywriter found his new best friend. It was called ChatGPT. He was happy because he could get all the work done in a fraction of the time without thinking too much, and clients didn't seem to realize. The problem was that his skills deteriorated, clients began to notice the lack of human touch, and there was no creativity in his work. And most importantly, when the AI made mistakes, he failed to realize, because he wasn't even checking his work. Do not rely on AI to do all the work. It's there as a tool to help you get the job done better, but ultimately you are the person responsible for the work. You can get ideas, you can generate outlines, but you need to work with AI and not just give it 100% control. Never seek to add any additional value. There was a freelancer who saw every piece of work as a transaction. You give me this, and I give you that. And he never tried to add any value to the client's business. Over time, the clients turned to better writers who would not only get the job done well, but would find ways to add more value by filling in the gaps in their business that were leading them to lose money, and found a way to turn those losses into profit. The freelancer quickly became forgotten. Eighth way to fail as a freelancer is to never communicate with clients, especially if you have problems with delivery. The phrase "no news is good news" doesn't really apply to freelancing. If you have a problem with delivering work, you need to tell clients, and you need to find a solution, and quickly. Failure to do so will lead to clients losing trust in you, and in this world, trust is one of the most valuable currencies. Number 9, being comfortable in plan B. Many freelancers think, if this doesn't work, I'll go back to my 9 to 5. This leads to them finding comfort in this safety net. I think that this safety net makes people complacent. They start delivering less, be less willing to take on risks, and ultimately not put in the extra effort needed to succeed. Especially at the beginning, I think you need to go over and above, and having this plan B has led to many freelancing businesses failing before even having the chance to take off. Number 10, never work more than normal people expect. After all, after working hours and the weekends are your time to chill. Weekends are for rest, and evenings are for family, she said. And that is what she believed, and how she lived. The problem is that getting started as a freelancer was taking a lot of time, and by not using those extra hours to make it work, she found herself falling behind, until eventually she gave up on her dream. While it's good to rest and while it's good to recharge, I think that adhering strictly to working hours is not something that you can do at the very beginning, and being open and flexible to working beyond what is considered normal is important. It's not forever, but it's the season of getting work done. Who needs a team when I'm the superstar? Boasted the freelancer. I think that many freelancers suffer from this. They want to start a one-person business and keep it like that forever. The problem is that this leads to burnout, overworking, and questioning whether freelancing is the right move for you. On the other hand, by giving the work that anyone can do to someone that can probably do it better than you, you stand a better chance to focus on the things that make your business your own, the things that you really must do. Everything else can be delegated and outsourced to someone that can do an even better job, even though this is very difficult to let go at the beginning. Number 12, in the ways to fail as a freelancer, is keeping everything secret. After all, if you share your ideas with other people, they will steal them and make them their own. My strategies are too good to share, he said. The problem is that by hoarding everything and not sharing anything with people that can help, you will never get feedback on whether your ideas are good or not, and never get the chance to become better at what you do. I think you need to be selective, however, with the ideas that you share. If there are people that don't have your best interests at heart, they will take your ideas. But if it's something that people can give you feedback on and you can improve as a result of that feedback, I think there's power in sharing your ideas and getting the perspectives of others who can provide ways how you can get better. Number 13 in the list of ways to fail as a freelancer is never reaching out to clients. After all, if they want to work with you, they will reach out themselves. However, this passive approach leads to a lot of missed opportunities. Now, I'm not saying go out and beg. I'm not saying try and persuade every client to work with you. Don't want that. At the same time, there are a lot of situations where you need to take that first step, especially as you are starting out. And being able to go to someone, tell them that you want to work with them and exactly how you will benefit their business has a lot of power associated with it. Number 14 is never doing any work that you're not paid for. I think that there's value in providing results for clients, even if they're not paying you for them. As you get started in your freelance business, you need to get your foot in the door somehow. You need to differentiate yourself from other freelancers. And sometimes the best way to do it is to offer personalized work to clients to show them how you can benefit their business. Just be careful that they don't take advantage of that, because ultimately you don't want to work with clients that are taking. At the same time, at the beginning, you're not always going to get paid for the work you do. And you will have work that you will have done for nothing. At the same time, I think you're also improving. You're getting better at what you do. So ultimately, it's never work that's done for nothing and in vain. Number 15 is always complaining about how demanding your clients are. After all, they must be a special kind of clients, right? Clients these days are way too demanding. They want more and more and more, he complained. And as he complained, he got even more and more demanding clients. On the other hand, there was another freelancer who did his best and seemed to find the best clients each and every time. I think the mindset plays a very important role in freelancing, and if you think that your clients are demanding, you will attract clients that will be demanding, that will want more and more and more. On the other hand, if there are minor requests that you can make to make the client happier, it doesn't mean that the client is out to get you, that the client is out to extract as much as possible from you. It just means that the client wants the best work. And being able to differentiate between one and the other is a good skill to have. All clients are super demanding in a negative sense, but everyone wants to get the best quality work possible. Number 16, the list of ways to fail as a freelancer is to be as vague as you can about the services that you offer. After all, if clients don't know what you are offering, they can't really complain about the work that they get, right? I once heard a copywriter say, I do stuff with words. I don't know what that means. And I'm guessing the clients didn't either. Leaving clients confused leads to a lot of back and forth, leads to unhappy clients, and this is never something that you want. The clearer you get on what you offer and how this will benefit the client, the better the final output will be and the less work you will have to do in terms of adjusting to meet client demands. Number 17 in the list of ways to fail as a freelancer is to be one-dimensional. Your job as a freelance copywriter is to write. That's it. If a client asks you to do something that's slightly different, that's a no. The client asks you to write social media posts, and you're usually used to writing blog posts, that's a no. You never want to go on a different path than you're used to, because being one-dimensional is good. While there are zones of genius, I also believe that you need to be adaptable. If you've been doing things one way, but it's clearly not working, or you want to expand to something new, I don't think that being one-dimensional is a good thing. Also, if you don't want to be one-dimensional, there's always ways to find other people that can provide the service. I don't think that there's a reason for you to ever say no to a client unless you're not getting paid for what is being asked, or it's totally something that's out of what you normally do. Other than that, there's always an opportunity for you to learn from something, get someone else to do the work, and you're acting as the middle person, or learn a new skill. Number 18, in the list of things to do if you want to fail as a freelancer, is never split test. And I don't mean this in just the traditional sense of the word, where we're taking one ad and comparing it to a different ad to see which one is the winner. I'm speaking about the way that you work as a freelancer. If you're always used to doing things a certain way, I think there's power in trying to do things in a different way and seeing if the output will be better. If you're always used to working in the morning and you're feeling that things aren't really working out, I think there's power in trying to work in the evening and seeing whether the result is better. Maybe that's a better time for you to work. Who knows? Unless you split test it, unless you try it and see what happens, you can't know. At the same time, don't be so quick to split test things. It doesn't really fix what is not broken. However, always being open to the possibility of something working better is a good skill to have. Number 19 in the list of things to do if you want to fail as a freelancer is to always shy away from responsibility. After all, who wants more responsibility? Who wants more things to do? All he wanted were simple projects, straightforward briefs, and to deliver the work without any feedback. That is all he wanted. Unfortunately, freelancing doesn't work that way, and neither does life. I believe that if you're not getting better, you're falling behind. It's very difficult to stay in the same position and not fall behind. So the only solution is to move forward, to learn more, to do more, to become better, and shying away from responsibility isn't something that helps with this. Number 20 in the list of ways to fail as a freelancer is shying away and never asking for testimonials. My work speaks for itself, he said. The problem was that new clients didn't know about the work that he did. They didn't know whether it was easy to work with when it comes to clients. They didn't know what other services he could offer because none of his clients ever spoke about their experience. Building a portfolio and having testimonials to put in that portfolio is important as a freelancer. You can't just send a CV like a traditional job and expect people to jump at the opportunity to work with you. Having a portfolio filled with client testimonials and with positive client testimonials is very important to get more clients over time. Next way to fail as a freelancer is not drinking coffee. Yeah, just kidding, but I think it's very important. Number 21 is planning only for the short term. When I first started working with my now biggest client, it was always a race to know what's going to happen next week, next month. And I didn't really like that. I always like to have a better and a more longer term vision of where things are going. And I feel that many freelancers are just interested in what's going to happen next week or even next month, but not having that vision of where things are going. And at the beginning, I think this is understandable, both with their business and with the clients that they are working with. As you get more long-term customers and clients, I think having that long-term vision is very important because it ensures that you're on board for a longer period of time. And it also allows you to do better work because you know what the client actually wants to do and where they want to go. Number 22, and the ways to fail as a freelancer is to drop every client immediately as soon as they disagree with anything that you do. One mistake and you're out, declared the unforgiving freelancer. I feel that many freelancers are very quick to fire clients. And while there is a time and place to do this, there's also a time and place to learn from the feedback that you get and deliver better results the next time around. However, reading various Facebook comments and Facebook posts, I feel that many freelancers actually think that their clients are special kind of disagreeable people and they can't wait to just drop them at the first sign of disagreement. Again, I think there's a time and place for you to not work anymore with people that are problematic, but at the same time, there's also a time and place to listen to what they are saying and see if there's any substance to it. Number 23 is arguing over freelancing posts on Facebook. And this one really gets me. As much as possible, I try to stay away from these posts. I occasionally browse Facebook groups to see if there's anything worth learning and worth going to. And there are a few groups that are really focused on providing value. At the same time, there's a lot of groups that are just there to fill up space, I feel. So when you see freelancers arguing over things that have no real bearing, I feel that it's just a way to feel busy, procrastinate doing the things that need to be done, and ultimately providing no value to everyone. So I think this is a very good way to fail as a freelancer. Number 24 is giving up too early. If you want to build something successful, it will take time. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, and overcoming them is part of the journey and part of getting to where you want to get. And that will never be possible if you just give up. If you have, again, like I mentioned earlier, a plan B that you're just waiting to fall back onto, and as soon as something bad happens, as soon as something doesn't go as planned, you just give up. You can't fail unless you give up is a saying that I like to think about, and I think this really applies in this situation. Number 25, in the ways to fail as a freelancer is ignoring the client brief. After all, as the freelancer, the client and their wishes don't really count for anything. So let's ignore what they say and just do what we think is best. And obviously this is being said tongue-in-cheek. So observing what clients want, giving them feedback if you feel it's not the right move. Both of these are important. By not following the brief, you're essentially not giving the clients what they want, which is ultimately a recipe for disaster. So don't ignore the brief. Number 26 is not proofreading work. After all, as a freelancer, you're great, your work is amazing, you don't need to double check it because it's always up to standard. And spell checking is for paranoid people, right? The problem is that when clients start finding typos and grammar mistakes and things that they have mentioned before that they don't like, and they are repeated over and over again. It is one of the fastest ways to ensure you don't get repeated work. So if you want to fail as a freelancer, never proofread your work. Number 27 in the list of ways to fail as a freelancer is that it's obviously a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one client will work for all of them. There's no need to personalize anything that you do. If you're doing cold email outreach, send the same message to everyone that you reach out to. If you're sending messages on Facebook to someone, that someone could be anyone out there, just send them a generic compliment and they will be more than willing to work with you. This is not how things work. You need to personalize your approach, and if you're not going to say something to a person's face, I don't think you should say it to someone online. And this applies to anything that happens in the online versus offline world. There is not really a situation in which a one-size-fits-all approach works. Clients want personalized work, and I think that they are paying for that. So creating value means creating work that the client knows has been done specifically for them. Number 28 in the ways to fail as a freelancer is chase all the trends all the time. 2 years ago, you were an NFT writer. Last year, you were a crypto writer. This year, you're an AI writer. The problem is that by not specializing in any given industry, in any given topic, you become a jack of all trades. And in today's world, I don't think there's much space for that. Having depth of knowledge and being able to create content as a freelancer around a specific topic and know it well is very important. There's a lot of people looking for specific solutions, and even though you can use AI to help you come up with content, it can't beat having that real experience and that real knowledge that you can put into your content. So if you're just trying to get by having just a brief idea of a topic, I don't think that will take you very far. Finally, in the number 29 spot for how to fail as a freelancer, have the customer is never right mentality. After all, like we said before, you know best. You know what content to create, you know how the client and their brand voice should be. So what does the client know? Dismissing client feedback is one of the best ways to lose clients over and over again. The more clients you lose, obviously the easier it will be to fail as a freelancer. So if that is what you want to do, then have this the client is never right mentality, and it will get you very far.